Hello, my name's Jonny Fluffypunk and I'm here to talk to you for a few minutes about how to win over an audience as a poet. Could be a difficult audience, but then they're all difficult until you've won them over, aren't they? So, how do we go about such a thing? Well, the main thing is confidence. Now you might think, well, that's difficult because I don't feel very confident when I'm getting up there. That's fine, that's fair. A lot of us don't when we get up there, but the important thing is to appear confident, and you can appear confident in a number of different ways. First thing to bear in mind is from the minute you get your name is called and you get up and you start heading towards that microphone, you are on stage, whether you like it or not. People, strangers who have never seen you before, are making impressions of you as you make your way up there. Do with that information what you will. Some people take it as time to demonstrate a little bit of their personality. Don't have to do all that, but I'm just saying, bear that in mind, okay? A lot of us like to think that we don't have stage personas when we're on stage. We're a poet and it's all about the writing, and I'm just being myself. Everybody has a stage persona. There are minority parts of your personality that come to the fore when you get on stage, whether you like it or not. The person you are on stage is not the same as the person that chats to their mate in the pub or talks to their mother, okay? Again, make of it what you will. So when you got up there, you're there behind the microphone. This is where you've got to make the audience warm to you. Now the main thing is to include the room. You have to work that entire audience, okay? So that means you're not just performing to one person in the front row, or by staring at the back of the room, or even worse, you've got a friend in the front row and you perform to that friend complete with little giggles and things like that, because it doesn't look good. That alienates the rest of the audience. So you have to include the room. The way you include the room, you just look round you, you're just acknowledging all the audience. As you're reading, as you're performing, you are acknowledging that whole room. You don't have to make eye contact with every single person, okay, in the room. Yeah, it's not necessary, you don't need to do that, that's going a bit far. But you include the room all the time you're working that entire room. People feel included. That is the most important thing. You don't have to make them laugh, you don't have to make them cry, you just got to include them, make them feel that they are part of the experience. That is what will warm them to you. Nobody in that crowd wants you to be crap. Nobody wants you to fail. And with a few simple things, a few little understandings of how human psychology works, you won't fail. Okay? If you're good, if you're just yourself, well, you be yourself. And with that in mind, don't do poetry voice. No one wants to hear poems recited in that kind of way that we know that poems get recited at a poetry gig. It's been done a million times before. It's a cliche, it's boring. You've got your own words, you've got your own voice, use it. Just be yourself. People love that. People love authenticity. People being true to themselves. Not true to some ideal of what poetry or performance poetry or slam poetry is meant to be, right? Be you. That's what's meant to be. By the same token, don't listen to those people who tell you that it's all got to be off the page and coming from your head. You're not an actor. Right? You're a poet, you're a performer. You can perform with a book. John Hegley reads from a book. John Cooper Clarke reads from a book. Attila the Stockbroker reads from a book. Zena Edwards reads from a book. Selena Godden reads from a book. Holly McNeice reads. They all read from books. They all read from pieces of paper. Right? It doesn't matter, you don't have to do this slam poetry cliche of everything being off the page, but use your book well. No one wants to see somebody doing that from behind because, you know, you can't see them. Right? But you use it well. I love using a book on stage. I know the poems off by heart, but that doesn't matter. I love the impression that I've just stepped out of my garret and I'm a bit defensive, but I've got my book of poetry full of midnight tears and crossings out, right? And you do it, you read, I wandered lonely as a cloud, and then you contact the room again, don't you? You make back to the room. So you're always referencing the room. You can use piece of paper, you can use a book. That is not a problem. Don't let anybody tell you different. A phone, ever so slightly different. A book has one purpose. This is my poetry book. I have written poems in it. When I look in it, I am looking in it for poetry. A phone has many different purposes. People are so used to seeing people glued to phones all the time that when someone takes the stage with a phone in their hand, stares at the phone, you just think they are checking their Twitter, right? And they scroll and it goes off and they click through and then they lose the screen. It's just crap. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, right? Don't rely on things like that. So, that brings me on to the final point I wanted to say, which is just have a strategy. When I say strategy, you can interpret that as set list. Just be a bit prepared. I don't ever have a set list. I make it up as I go along. I've been doing that for years. That's what I like doing. I like the danger. But I have strategies. I know several different ways I could begin, several different ways I could go. Okay, I've thought about it. I'm not going up there blind. The worst thing is when you see those people who get up on the stage and they'll go, you know, I don't know what to start with. I haven't thought about this. And then they laugh like that. And go, sorry. Yeah, it's crap. It's just crap, mate. You're being paid to do a gig, right? You've been booked for it for weeks, if not months. You should have thought about it, shouldn't you? You should have thought about it. And the fact that you're getting up there and going, aren't I a bit crap? Yes, that is crap, because you're insulting that audience that has paid to see you. So don't do stupid things like that, and just basically include that whole room and you won't go far wrong. Okay? Just enjoy it. Enjoy it and be yourself. Hope to see you out there somewhere. Good luck.